again. So Nora and I just finished writing down our goals and some of our areas of our life that we wanted to manifest. And it got us thinking.
Yeah, it did. And first of all, thanks for watching, and just wanted to share some information with you. But yeah, we just got done with that. And Luna is here with us today.
Oh, yeah.
Here. Yeah, we usually have Coco, but Coco is not here with us today. Little Luna is here. But yeah, we wanted to share some things with you, and yeah, let's do that.
We've been talking about intentions for our life, and so some of our exercise today was writing down some intentions for our life, and writing them in very proactive statements like I am, and one of them was I am kind and I am respectful. And then we started talking about, well, how do we actually manifest those? How do we make that actually come true? How do we, walk that and not just be talk? So we started talking about, well, what are random acts of kindness, politeness, random acts of forgiveness, random acts of respect, love, honesty, all those things that we can do for others. And so we're going to challenge each other. We've decided that we're going to have a weekly challenge that we will do one of those items.
Yes, and then we'll talk about it, on another video. We won't use the whole video to talk about it, but we'll say, okay, this is what we did, this is our random act of kindness for the week. And just because mine may be sooner than Elva's or vice versa, so we're going to do it that way.
Yeah,
but I think it's an awesome challenge. I'm looking forward to it.
Me too. We were talking about what it really means. A random act of kindness means that you're not expecting anything in return. And then we started thinking about what were some of the things that have happened to us or that we've done in the past week or 2 weeks of our life. And some examples came up that we hadn't even really thought of as far as being a random act of kindness, but they kind of were, or we attempted to make them a random act. I was reminding her about when we were at the rodeo and we were all leaving for intermission, and somebody accidentally kicked over a drink that belonged to an individual that was sitting on the end of the row, and you went and bought him a new drink.
I bought him, because, I think the individual that did it did not do it purposely. I don't think that was what was happening, but I didn't feel like they just kind of picked up the can that was already spilled over and just kind of set it upright. But I thought there was no, I'm sorry, or, gosh, that was an accident, something. So when we, went over to, buy something to drink, then I thought, you know what, let's just buy a beer for that one young man. He was there. It was a young couple, and I thought, and he was so surprised. He looked at me and he was like really in shock. He was like, what? Like for me? And I'm like, God, this is for you. And he said, oh, thank you. And his wife turned around and she was like, thank you. So
it's probably something he's going to remember too for a long
period of time.
And hopefully he pays it forward and does something random for someone else. So.
Exactly, because we've all had, people that do things for us in our lives. And so if we can turn around and like you said, pay it forward, that's awesome. Yeah.
Right. And I was telling her about on the airplane here, the lady, I started talking to the lady next to me that was sitting next to me, and she mentioned that her husband was also on the flight and that he was seated several rows in front of us. And I offered, would you like me to switch seats with them? And she said, no, that's not necessary. But honestly, there have been times that my husband and I have been seated separately on a flight if we didn't pay for our seat. And then we kind of say like, okay, let's see if we can get someone to move. And honestly, people are usually very, very nice and say, yes, no problem. So, but that's a very nice random act of kindness that people do for us. And even though the offer to change seats was not accepted, but that's fine. At least there was an attempt to do it. So.
Exactly. I mean, because she didn't want to have her husband.
I guess not.
So was like, no, thank you. Pay that forward somewhere else.
Well, and another area might be as you're driving. I know that sometimes people cut in front of you or are signaling that they need to move over, and how easy is it to just allow them to cut in front of you instead of getting angry that they didn't realize they needed to move a lane or something like that.
Yes.
just let
And
them.
I mean, it's happened to all of us. I know it's
Yeah.
happened to me where, I get to the end of the, to the front of the line. I'm like, oh my goodness, I needed to turn right. I need to be in that lane that's right next to me.
Right.
But I mean, there's a long, long line, and, people are going to start giving me, ugly looks. But, I'll put on my signal light, and then I'll realize that somebody will let me in. And and she's back. Here's Coco.
There's Coco.
But, so yeah, it does make a difference. So, if you're in that line and somebody's trying to cut in, that person may have not done it intentionally to go to the front of the line.
Okay.
But, they just happen to be in the wrong lane, but yet they need to go right. So just let them go ahead and get in front of you, and let them in. So.
And I think it can actually even affect your day. Like I know that when I made a bad move or didn't realize I needed to turn, like you said, right, and then I start signaling and nobody lets you in, and you feel like, why?
Yes.
Like I don't understand. And
I would let you in, right? Why won't you let me in?
Right, exactly. And then you kind of feel a little bit disappointed, But why? It's not really necessary. I always say, like, nobody owns this road. We all share the road. So just, let it go. And I think to reduce road rage is important in our times because people have become very volatile at times. So whatever we all can do to try to prevent road rage, let somebody in.
Yeah.
Oh, no, I'm going to sneeze.
She's gonna be known as Sneezy, okay? She's always sneezing in our videos.
Oh my God.
She'll be back in a minute.
Here I am.
She's back. Okay. So anyway, I was gonna talk about, just when people hold the door open for you, I've noticed that does happen.
Oh, yeah.
Do you need tissue?
No.
You're all right, okay.
Yeah.
That's always really nice when they turn around and they see you're coming, they hold the door open for you. Because it can be the opposite as well, where they see you coming, they're like, hurry, get in, let the door close on your face. So.
Well, especially like when you're hurrying to get in because, you're going into a restaurant or somewhere and you really don't want to let someone in front of you because that means it's going to take longer for you to get
They're going to get their table first.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So it is nice when they do that. But,
exactly.
One thing that I've actually held doors open and then someone doesn't say thank you. So then I've said, well, you're welcome. But that's not really nice to say. So I have to not do that. But
Yeah, because then what you did was you just canceled out your niceness.
Exactly.
You were holding the door open, but then they don't, say, okay, thank you, Coco.
Yeah, it's not a random act of kindness if you're expecting something in return.
Exactly.
Including a thank you. So you just have to be doing it just out of the goodness of your heart.
So no more thank you.
Yeah.
In the sarcastic voice.
Yes,
No,
exactly.
no.
Yeah, and it also could be a random act of forgiveness. Maybe there's somebody that you've held a grudge against for years, or you have something that you've thought about. Maybe just sending them a nice text, that tells them they're in your thoughts and prayers, and that you've forgiven them, or usually
you're sorry. Sometimes it may have been something that you may have done, and so you just you need to just wipe that slate clean, because that's all negativity. We don't want that. So.
Right, exactly. Yeah, I agree. And as well as love. Maybe somebody just needs a little pickup that day, or there's a lot of lonely people out there. So even talking to somebody at the grocery store or something, just doing something that might make somebody's day a little bit happier.
Yeah, and I love to talk, so I tend to talk to everybody, at the grocery store, or, we went to an ice cream shop once, my son and I, and, there was a lady beside me, and she had ordered some ice cream. I just felt like chatting, because I always feel like chatting. And so I turned to her and I said, what kind of ice cream is that? And she said, oh, it's blah, blah. And she's like, and I said, is it good? And she said, oh, it's so good. You should get it. And then, so we just started, chatting about the ice cream. But it's just little things, and she was by herself. So I don't know if that helped her day. It helped my day, just to talk with her for a little bit. So
sure,
it was nice. Yeah.
I was just thinking about the last one we had talked about, random acts of honesty too. In fact, I was on flight. I used to travel a lot for the company I worked for, and I remember that there was a young girl that was sitting kind of catty corner, across the aisle from me, and she was very young and had a child. And when I got up, to exit the plane, I happened to just kind of look right, left at the seats, and I noticed there was a wad of money on the seat, in her seat where she had been sitting, and she was now 2 or 3 people in front of me, because each side gets off like this. And I grabbed the money and I walked and I held that money and I walked all the way off the plane, hurried around some people, and I said, you've dropped this money. She was like, oh my gosh. She said, it was in my back pocket, I think. it must have slipped out. She was like, thank you so much. You don't realize that's really all the money I have. Like that,
Oh my God.
that's a significant amount of money for me.
Yeah.
And thank you, you know, and stuff like that. And I was just,
that was so nice.
yeah, definitely. Because, you know, obviously sometimes we find money and we're like, oh, my lucky day. I found a $5 bill on the ground.
Yes.
But if you don't know who that belonged to and you find it outside, obviously you can't go in the store and go, is this your $5 bill? So, you know, maybe yes. But, you know, I knew who it was because I had seen the girl kind of with her baby or, you know, carrying the baby on the plane and had noticed her. And then when I saw that money, I knew it was her money. So I was just like, but, you know, it was just something, when you do it just out of your heart, you're not doing it expecting anything. It was nice. So, but there's always those signs and those things all around.
And what goes around comes around. So,
that's right.
Yeah,
true.
It's always better to, because if you would have put that money in your pocket, you would have eventually lost it.
Yeah,
or lost more, I think. I don't know.
Right.
I know not everybody believes that. I do. So.
No, karma, definitely. Karma definitely is exactly what you're talking about. So.
But thank you so much.
But we want to challenge you guys to do animal acts of kindness, politeness, forgiveness, respect, love, honesty. And then just put in the comments something that either happened to you or that you've done. We want to,
or even if you saw it happening, like maybe you saw someone else being kind to somebody, you know, put that in there as well. You know, we'll talk about that, and we're going to share, you know, what we do or what we don't do or what we see each week, at least one random act of kindness. I think that's fair, that we should be able to do that, right?
Right, definitely. I think that when you start thinking about it more and more, you'll look for opportunities to do it, or look for things that have, or even realize the random acts of kindness that happened to you. And so we'll want to talk about it. But we would definitely want to, we'd love to, you know, keep this alive and a movement started on what we think that we all should be doing. So
absolutely.
It'd be fun to have those stories shared. So we look forward to hearing your stories.
Yeah, well, thank you so much. We're glad we were able to share with you. And again, like Elva said, you know, give us your comments, give us your thoughts, and we're very happy to listen to those and respond to you. So that makes us very happy.
Well,
that can be your random act of kindness or happiness or something. Giving us a comment,
Oh yeah,
high five for us,
Yeah, definitely. We appreciate you guys. So we'll see you again soon. Bye.
Bye-bye.